you that know me, which is probably none of you, so this is my first video, but if you didn't know me, you might know that I like to eat a lot of food and I like to prioritize a certain something to help me stay pretty lean. And that's exactly what I want to share in today's video for you guys. I want to share what that tip is, why it's that you should prioritize versus some other things you might consider, and exactly how powerful could it be for you. In essence, you can honestly lose 100 pounds in a year if you really wanted to, or more or less, that's up to you, but this tip alone could do that for you. Now, before I get into any of this, there's a couple things we need to understand. If you want to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. And rather than just tell you that, I'm going to explain why and why you should stop listening to anyone telling you that it's all the hormones and insulin or whatever. So, it's the law of thermodynamics. Matter and energy both cannot be created nor destroyed. They can only be converted into one another. So, if you want to decrease body fat, you want to lose weight, you're trying to decrease mass or matter on your body. The only way you're going to be able to do that, have the mass decrease, the weight on the scale go down, is if you have an energy deficit. You can't have enough energy. You have to be too low in energy. How do you do that? You're either burning off too much or you're not eating enough. Otherwise, the scale weight's not going down outside of water weight. It's not going down. You could do body recomposition, but that requires you to gain an equal amount of muscle to do so, which is not very practical for a lot of you in most cases. So, you need to be in a calorie deficit. It doesn't matter what your hormones are. That can only affect just like how much muscle you lose versus fat, or how much muscle you gain versus fat. For example, if you're on anabolic steroids, you have a lot of testosterone. Yes, you can lose more body fat and preserve more muscle, or even gain more muscle because of it. But the actual weight that changes, that doesn't affect. It's not affected by hormones. That's affected by the calories. So, now that we understand that, what is this tip? Is it HIIT cardio? Are you going to burn 1,000 calories overnight from the afterburn effect? Not HIIT cardio. Is it keto? Is it intermittent fasting? Is it some sort of a fad diet? No, because just as I said, all that matters is the calories. So the calorie deficit or the calorie surplus if you're trying to gain weight. So whether it's coming from carbs or you're eating at a certain time of day or whatever, makes no difference. Carbs are not evil. Eating after 7 o'clock at night is not evil. Doesn't matter. Is it just portion control? Take what you're eating, eat less. That can help you lose weight, but that's not the tip because it's not going to be the most sustainable. Okay, better than that, is it eating low-calorie dense foods? Is it finding foods that are higher in volume but lower in calories? Great idea. Not the tip either, though, because we can do better than that. Is it lifting weights? You're going to get so jacked that your metabolism is going to boost by 1,000 calories. That's not true. It's not lifting weights either. So what on earth is it? It's actually very simple. Just move more. Go for a walk. Wave your arms around when you talk. Do this. I don't care. Just physically move more. If you have an Apple Watch or Fitbit or whatever, or a phone that can track your steps, for the love of God, please just use it. It's going to give you a baseline of what you've been doing on a daily basis and what you can do more than that. Now, I want to talk about why it's better than all those other forms. So, I've already kind of covered the fat diet thing. Those kind of don't matter. The only thing that they can do for you is if you find it helps you maintain a calorie deficit. So if just saying, hey, I'm only going to eat 3 times, that does the trick for you, do that. You know, if cutting out the carbs, just convenient, eating only meat and vegetables does the trick for you, fine, do it, I don't care. But know that just because it is keto or it's carnivore or intermittent fasting, it doesn't actually matter. So as long as you enjoy what you're doing, the diet itself doesn't really matter. So that's that. Okay, HIIT cardio. HIIT cardio is great for getting in shape. It's a great form of cardio. It's very intense and it's going to work your heart like crazy. That's awesome. But as far as weight loss goes, the afterburn effect is pretty much pointless. You're only going to burn an extra like 20 calories or so, depending on how many calories you burned in the workout. It's proportional to that. So you're not burning 1,000 calories overnight unless you burned like 10,000 calories during your workout, which you did. Otherwise, you would be skin and bone and die. So stop thinking the afterburn effect is going to save your life. Steady state cardio is honestly going to be better for you, bang for your buck in terms of calorie burning. So it's not HIIT cardio. Lifting weights. Will you have a better metabolism, bigger metabolism, if you have more muscle? Yes. But is it as much as you think? Nope, it's not. You're not burning that many more calories, okay? Like, I was doing some math earlier, and the amount of calories you're going to burn extra, it's there, but it's not that much. Gain like 20 pounds of muscle, and maybe, at best, you're going to get an extra 500 calories. Probably not even going to do that, and 20 pounds of muscle is actually quite a lot. So use it to help you because you want to look good, whatever, but lifting weights is not the answer to getting shredded. What about portion control? So, this is kind of where the main things I want to talk about come in. So if you take like the same person, two parallel universes, or however you want to think about it. Let's just say we have two guys, they're the same person, they both eat 2,500 calories on maintenance, and their NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is just kind of the calories they burn moving around, equates to, let's say, 200 calories, which is about 4,000 steps worth. So just doing what they do, washing the dishes, jumping up during the football game, going to work, whatever, they get about 4,000 steps a day at the moment. So let's say the first person, he says, I'm going to eat less. And that's his mindset. He says, I'm going to eat less calories and I'm going to lose weight. Will he lose weight? Yes. But he's going to feel more hungry. On the other hand, the other guy says, you know what? I'm going to keep eating exactly the same way I am, but instead of 4,000 steps, I'm going to up that. I'm going to get 14,000 steps. I'm going to get about an extra 5 miles a day. He's going to burn an extra 500 calories or so, depending how big he is. Let's just say 500 calories for now. They both have a 500 calorie deficit, so they're both going to lose weight equally as much. The difference, though, is the guy who burned more calories, number one, is working as hard and is going to live longer, and he's in better shape. Number two, he's not going to feel as hungry because he has more food coming in. And in addition to that, the guy who not only has less food volume coming in, he's also depriving himself of micro and macronutrients, so he's getting less fat for his hormones potentially, less protein for building muscle potentially, or it's just getting less vitamins and minerals. And when the body's lacking in things it desires, it's going to crave it. And how does it get you to eat that stuff? It makes you feel hungry. It sends ghrelin in to get you to eat. If you're not deficient in those things, it's less likely to do so. So the guy who burned more calories, he was pretty much just in a deficit of like carbs, for energy to walk around and stuff. So he's not deficient in his micro and macronutrients so much as the other guy. So he's not going to feel as hungry. As an example with myself, I can tell you firsthand, I burn over 1,000 calories a day, but let's just say 1,000 for now. On days that I do my workouts and stuff, which is 6 days a week, and I burn like over 1,000 calories, I can meet a 300 calorie deficit. So for me, that's about 3,500 calories or so. My main is about 3,800 with everything I do. I can eat 3,500 calories on those days and feel less hungry than I do eating at maintenance on my off days, where I only will do like 300 calories worth of extra activity. I'll let that be an easy day and I eat about 2,800 calories or so. So the day that I was in 300 calorie deficit, I'm literally less hungry than I am at maintenance on my off days. Okay, if that doesn't illustrate the point here, my point is, if you do more activity to eat more, it's going to make your life easier from a hunger standpoint, and you're less likely to be deficient in things, and you get to enjoy more of the foods you like. Not only that, but if you're going to go out to a restaurant, let's say, or it's Thanksgiving, you're having a meal with the family, whatever, it's high calorie food, it's less of a big deal when you eat that because you have so many more calories to work with. So if I down 2,000 calories in one meal or whatever, I still have 1,800 left, and so I can just say, hey, I'm going to eat less calorie-dense foods for the rest of the day. Eventually, all those calories will catch up to me, not in the moment, but later on, I won't feel as hungry. Whereas, if I'm only eating 2,000 calories, I eat that in one meal, well, shit, no matter what, I'm only going to be in a surplus. I can't even do anything about it. So that's just another benefit. Now, I want to talk about low-calorie-dense foods. So this is going to help you from the hunger standpoint versus just portion control. You're still going to run into the same issue with the micro and macronutrient deficiency, so that's not helping you, but there's another reason why I like to prioritize just moving more. So, on the note of the whole restaurant thing, if you're used to eating very high volume foods that are low in calories, when it comes to eating the high calorie dense foods, you're not going to feel satisfied until you have the same amount of volume. I can tell you from first-hand experience. When I was just getting obsessive with the low-calorie, high-volume food thing, and I went out to eat, I would eat like 4,000 calories at least in a meal before I'd even remotely feel satisfied. And I was already in a surplus for the day because of it. Whereas, if I'm just used to burning off more, even if I eat the same amount of volume, like I said, you have more calories to work with, it's not a big deal. Not only that, I'm going to use bodybuilders as an example for this. So, if you've ever followed a bodybuilder and you've seen them when they're getting close to being stage ready, they're tired as hell. A lot of them, what they do is they start with the food cutting, whether it's portion control or low-calorie dense foods, and then later on they start adding in more cardio. But they're so tired from being low in body fat and in calorie deficit all this time, it's just so hard for them to do more cardio. On the other hand, if they've been doing all the activity beforehand, they were walking around, easy stuff all the time, it becomes second nature to them. For me, doing that over 1,000 calories a burn every single day, it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. Why? Because I'm used to it, I worked up to it, and it's not even that intense work anyway. So from here, it doesn't matter how tired I am. It's not hard for me to do it. So I can be completely deprived and depleted, but I can still get up and do it, and I have so many calories to work with. If I still need to, I can switch over to doing some low-calorie dense food stuff for the last couple percent before a bodybuilding competition or whatever, and I have so many calories to work with that it's so easy to drop calories there, and I'm so used to doing all the activity that it's not that tiring for me to keep doing it. To put in perspective, take like the best cyclist in the world or the best marathon runner in the world. On their worst day, they could be throwing up, sleep deprived, hungover, whatever. They will still be able to run or ride way farther than you, way faster than you on your best day ever. Why? Because they're used to doing so much activity. They're used to riding a shitload or running a crap load or whatever, so that even when they feel like shit, it's still gonna be way more than you would imagine doing. Like when I did cross country, I could feel like crap still run 6 miles. Now, I mean, I could still do it, but like I'm not used to it, and I certainly don't feel like doing it. So I hope you're seeing why I'm saying prioritize moving more first. You can certainly supplement on other things too, but if you prioritize the moving more first, you're gonna make everything else more effective, easier to work with, and you can make way more sustainable progress. Like I said, I'm not that huge, but my maintenance right now is like 3,800 to 4,000 calories. Pretty darn lean, and I'm not that big. Sure, I have a pretty high metabolism, but it's mostly due to my activity, and it's second nature to me at this point. And you, I don't care where you are now and where you want to be, you can build up by doing easy activity. So now that you hopefully see why I'm saying to prioritize it, let's see how much this can actually play out for you. So I have some numbers written down here. So using myself as the example for the moment here, like I said, I burn over 1,000 calories every single day just by kind of walking around at various points. My next video on this channel will be talking about some of the things I implement to make that very easy and sustainable for me, as well as some other tips that I don't really use, but you might like. But let's ignore that for now. Stay tuned on that video later. So let's just round down to 1,000 calories, even though I burn more. Let's just say 1,000. If I just didn't eat more the way I did, and I just kept eating the way I was, I would have created a 1,000 calorie deficit for myself. If I maintain that deficit every single day for a year, I would lose 104 pounds a year. Now, that's walking around doing stuff at my weight. If you're twice as big as me, say you're like 300 to 400 pounds right now, let's say you're 350 pounds, every mile you walk, you're gonna burn twice as many calories as I did for that mile because you're twice as big. You're moving twice as much mass. In that case, and you just did all the same mileage and everything I did, you lose 208 pounds in a year. Not that you should do that, but you could. So let's just say you said, okay, well, I'm gonna do half as much as that because I'm twice as big. You're still 104 pounds. Let's say you say, I'm gonna do a quarter as much. That's still 52 pounds. So you're gonna complain about that? Now, realistically though, you should probably start small and build your way up. So I've gone ahead and done some math on that for you too. So now let's look at this from a more realistic standpoint. We're gonna consider the fact that as you get lighter, your metabolism and the calories you burn, your total daily expenditure is going to decrease. Your maintenance calories will decrease a little bit. Not by as much as you think it will, but it will decrease. And I've done some math about that, and it's probably going to be around 100 calories or so for every 10 pounds you lose. That does depend on the actual activity level you're doing, and it's probably more so true towards the higher end, closer to what I'm doing, but for simplicity, let's ignore that and just say, regardless of what you're doing, every 10 pounds you lose 100 calories on your maintenance calories. And let's also say you're going to go about this whole thing in a more realistic way. You're going to start small and work your way up. So, for example, let's say on the first month you're just going to take whatever you're doing and you're going to do an extra 2,000 steps, an extra mile a day. So let's say you're naturally we're just doing 4,000 steps a day. The first month you're going to bump that up to 6,000 steps. The next month 8,000 and so on. You're going to do an extra 2,000 every single month. Now, incorporating the whole every 10 pounds you lost, your maintenance dropped 100 calories thing, and continue that progression, you would still lose 47 pounds at my size, going from walking an extra 2,000 steps a day to 4,000 and so on, just working your way up. It's not that hard to work your way up. That's a very slow rate, to be honest. To say I'm going to do an extra mile a day, every month I'm going to add it. So month 1, 1 mile, month 2, 2 miles, and so on. Okay, that's giving you plenty of time to adapt. I don't care how out of shape you are, but you can handle it, especially if you're not even doing it all in one go and you're implementing the tips I mentioned in my next video. If we ignore the whole metabolism thing, you lose about 68 pounds. Again, that's at my size. So even if it was 47 pounds, about 50 pounds at my size. If you're twice as big and you worked your way up that way, you would still lose 100 pounds in a year. Are you gonna complain about losing 100 pounds in a year without having to change how you ate? All you did was just took what you ate and made sure the calories were the same. You didn't change the food, you didn't change how much, it's just the same calories. And all you did was slowly do a little bit more moving around. And you could lose 100 pounds if you're really big, or 50 pounds if you're not so big. Who's complaining about that? That is so easy. And using myself as an example, it's worked so well for me that I've gone too lean too easily sometimes. Like, I'm literally not starving and I'm hyper, so I always have energy. And the only issue I came into is, like, I get too weak for powerlifting. I just lose all my strength, and that's the side effect that I mostly notice. But everything else, it's so easy for me. I've been leaner than I am now. I was 10 pounds lighter earlier this summer, and in terms of hunger and everything, I was fine. I wasn't even doing everything I could do. I could easily do more than I'm doing because I'm used to it at this point, so adding a little bit more, it's not that hard. And that's the beauty of this, is that you can continue to add more as much as you want, pretty much, until it's just ridiculous. And then you can start adding in the other tips. And that's really how I recommend doing it. Just start by moving around more. It's good for your heart. It's going to make everything else easy for you. Like I said, are you going to complain about losing 100 pounds? That could change your life, and it won't even be that hard, and you're going to feel great about it because walking around is going to make you feel better anyway. It's going to improve your digestion and a bunch of other crap. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you here. Moral of the story is, just move around more. You can thank me later when it works out great for you. Stay tuned for my next video where I talk about several tips to make this a lot more easy and sustainable for you guys, so you can easily do this for the rest of your life. But with all that being said, I'm going to wrap up the video here. So if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, don't forget to give it a like, leave a comment down below, let me know how many steps you're getting right now and how many you're going to get after watching this video. Subscribe and turn on your notifications for the channel if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!